It is 11 a.m. in Toulouse, France. It is 5 a.m. in Springfield, Illinois. I'm Monita Rajpal.
And I'm Zain, Verjee. This is World One, live from London.
It is still trying to come to terms with Monday's shooting at a Jewish school in Toulouse. A moment of silence has just been held to remember the victims. Thousands gathered in Paris to mourn the 3 children and 1 teacher who died. It was the 3rd attack in 10 days by gunmen on a motorcycle in the Toulouse area. Each time, the targets have been from ethnic minorities. Newspapers around the world have been commenting on the attack, and a number of them look at how it plays into the French presidential campaign. This headline in the French paper Les Echos translates as national shock, electoral truce. The opinion piece says, faced with the shootings in Toulouse, all the presidential candidates found the right words and were on their best behavior. Not one of them made the mistake of exploiting the tragedy for political gains. It was self-evident that the right thing to do was to put the electoral campaign on hold, even if it was just for a day. In Britain, race, religion and murder is the headline on a comment article in The Guardian. It says not even Sarkozy, who has most politically to lose from these killings, is trying to hide the link with race and religion. He yesterday called on the French people to stand up against hate, having spent the past few months manically stirring it. And finally, in Israel, there is a commentary in the Jerusalem Post, the headline, Protecting France's Jews. It says France's presidential election campaign has been marred with xenophobic elements that have not helped create a particularly welcoming atmosphere for Jews or Muslims. Inflammatory campaign rhetoric in France's presidential elections must be toned down. Zimbabwe is hearing arguments about the sentences for 6 people convicted of plotting to overthrow the government. The primary piece of evidence, a video of the Arab Spring uprising, which was shown to a meeting of 45 people. The judge said they were gathering to plan a revolt, but the group maintains it was just an academic discussion. Joins us now with more. Robin.
Hi there, Monita. Well, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, people around the world watched on their television screens what was happening
there. Well, Illinois
has
a big industrial base and a sizable conservative population in rural areas, so the candidates have their work cut out for them. Let's take a closer look at today's race. CNN political editor Paul Steinhauser joins us now from Wheaton, Illinois, just west of Chicago. And one could argue, Paul, that this is very much Barack Obama turf here.
Oh, no doubt about it. This is Barack Obama country, you could definitely say. Remember, he spent much of his...
What about Newt Gingrich, then? Is he just giving up on Illinois altogether, moving straight ahead?
It seems that way. Newt Gingrich came to Illinois briefly about a week ago.
Well, the northern Syrian city of Idlib has been a hotbed of resistance since the uprising took hold. ITN's John Irvine visited villages in the area where he found rebels determined to take on the regime of President Bashar al-Assad.
It's their children's future they are fighting for. They will tell you they want...
Huge crowds of Coptic Christians are gathered in the Egyptian capital now for the funeral of Pope Shenouda III. The faithful have been in mourning since he died on Saturday at 88. As leader of Egypt's Coptic church for some 4 decades, he played a really unique role in an increasingly tense region.
On to what Ian was saying, perhaps just to illustrate how this new pope will be chosen. Now, it could take months for this new pope to be chosen. According to the selection rules, the new pope must be celibate, Egyptian, at least 40 years old, and must have spent at least 15 years in a monastery, and must be a bishop. Then a council of 1,500 people, including senior clergy, Coptic public officials, members of parliament, local councillors and journalists, will then elect a candidate. Then the names of the 3 candidates with the most votes are written on slips of paper. And this is where it gets really interesting. A child from the congregation, no more than 9 years old and wearing a blindfold, picks one, and the person named on that slip of paper becomes the new Coptic pope. But that could take some time. When the Coptic Church last selected a pope back in 1971, it took the council 8 months before choosing Pope Shenouda as the head of the church. Well, he started moving and speaking to friends and visitors. Doctors treating Fabrice Muamba, the Premier League player who had a cardiac arrest on Saturday, say his condition has improved, albeit slightly. Pedro Pinto joins us now with all the details on that. So, means to be optimistic.
Yeah, very good news. I think considering his condition initially, this is something we should all be pretty happy about, especially if you consider his heart was stopped for nearly 2 hours after he collapsed on the field during Saturday's FA Cup match between Bolton and Tottenham.
59.
Yeah, that's not a good number if you're playing basketball.
No.
Maybe for one single player.
Maybe if I was playing, but
yeah.
that's what would be a good thing then.
Yeah.
But it's not about me. Thank you very much.
No, it isn't, Monita. Just this time, though.
Just this definition of cool. That's what I want to know. It's all right.
The grannies.
The grannies. Okay, Zain, thank you very much. Well, speaking of cool then, if that's your definition, another anniversary is being celebrated in Britain, where lawmakers are unveiling a specially commissioned stained glass window to honor Queen Elizabeth's 60 years on the throne. Foster joins us now from outside Parliament with more on that. Max.
Yeah, Monita, a very rare occasion, really, for anyone to address both houses of Parliament. But
argue that even with all that change, she has remained that one consistent voice throughout this time. Max, thank you very much for that. Of course, we'll bring that speech to you live when it happens, and Max will be joining us for that. Max Foster there here in London.
Not too good, if you ask me. The wind should begin easing up as we head through the overnight hours tonight. Back to you.
All right, Mari, thank you very much. Well, the movie The Hunger Games is set to open in theaters worldwide starting Wednesday. The hugely anticipated book adaptation will most likely score one of the best opening weekends of the year. Andrew Spencer brings us this preview.
World One, live from London, I'm Zain Verjee.
I'm Monita Rajpal. Thank you for joining us. We'll update you of the news headlines at the top of the hour right here on CNN.